Hi, everybody. It's Mike Shermann, and I'm with the one and only UFC Hall of Famer, Suga Rashad Evans. This is our very first podcast called Suga and Sherm. We've been talking about this for a long time, and it's finally here, and I am excited to be part of it. Rashad, what do you think about it? We finally did this, man.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. There was a time that I was thinking, Mike is just blowing smoke. This shit ain't gonna happen, but it finally happened. And
Well, this shit is here.
It is.
I mean, we've finally been talking about it. We've been on the road together for many years, just kind of hanging out, goofing off, and the chemistry is there. We've got a lot of similarities and a lot of opposites. So I think it's gonna show very nicely on this podcast, and I just can't wait to get this baby started because I'm pumped up.
See, this is the part that we have to reel him in because he's gonna get a little crazy. He's gonna get a little wild, but
you see, I got a weekly TV show, and you're on ESPN doing the pre and post UFC fights, but you've got to be politically correct. I'm Rashad Evans. Hi, you're watching UFC today, and now you get to be Rashad Evans, man.
yeah. I mean, I try to always be Rashad Evans, but now I can be even more myself.
Not so mechanical. More like the real cool dude that I know, man.
Right.
Anyway, and I'm the same way. Now I can be myself. So I'm excited. We're here. We want to talk about a lot of things. This is not going to be your average podcast where he talks about MMA and I talk about whatever celebrities. We're going to talk about a lot of different things that's touching everybody in the world from all different topics, from soup to nuts. However, we do have a big fight coming up on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Very big fight with Nate Diaz and that Russian fighter. What's his name?
Khamzat
Right.
Chimaev.
Khamzat Chimaev. Now, I've watched that guy fight a couple times, and he looks like a beast. He looks like the coming of the new Khabib. And I think he's a tough son of a gun, but it's going to be a good fight. Nate hasn't fought in a couple years. I know he's been bitching with Dana White about getting a fight. He got the fight. What do you think Nate's going to do in this fight?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one to say because a big part of me is pulling for Nate. I really want Nate to go out there and do well, but listening to his interviews and everything leading up to it,
I'm scared.
Not scared, but just in a mindset where I'm not sure how much he believes that he can win or he's going to even try to win. It feels almost as if like he's on like fuck it and whatever happens. And it's good to have that mindset to be like, fuck it sometimes. Because some of my best fights, I was like, fuck it, whatever happens. And you go out and you fight good. But there's times where you're just like, fuck it, and just not bring it, So if he goes out there and he fights and brings the fuck it from a like, I'm gonna go out, this is my swan song type, then it can be a good fight. But let's be honest here. Let's just be honest. He's a bit outmatched. You know what I'm saying? He's going against a stronger, a bigger guy in Khamzat, and this guy Khamzat, his mindset is, he hasn't been in the game that long, so he's still so hungry, and the hunger that he has, it shows. So he's a monster out there. He's kind of intimidating to a lot of people just because of the simple fact that he'll grab you and then drag you to where Dana White is.
Slowly.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm going to kill you. I'm going to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? So,
talk some shit.
Yeah, he's gonna talk some shit. So it's gonna be a tough fight for Nate. But I think the biggest battle for Nate is to mentally just bring himself there without allowing everything that happened to lead up to the event to get in the way.
But I'm going to tell you one thing, and I love UFC, and I'm not a big UFC junkie, but I do love it and I do enjoy it. Nate is going to guarantee it's going to be a bloodbath. He's going to bring everything he's got.
I mean, yeah, he might bleed a lot. He might bleed a lot, but I mean, listen, I don't want that for Nate. Like, what I want for Nate,
he's got a lot to prove. He hasn't fought in a while. So Dana White, he's been in Dana White's ear, like, give me a fight. And we met him in Vegas a couple months ago. And, he's like, I just want to fight. So I think he's going to come out with everything he's got. He's probably going to lose because the other dude is way better, and I think he's overmatched. But I think he's going to go down,
I mean, no matter what happens, in this fight, Nate Diaz is a legend in the sport.
No doubt.
Not only for the way that he's fought, but just his positional stance on so many things that became now shown to be okay, cool. Like for instance, his whole stance on being the first one to be open about smoking cannabis and the benefits of what it can do for your body and as an athlete
Yeah.
and as a fighter and stuff like that. And him and his brother were on the forefront of that. They got suspended
Yeah,
for it.
they were blackballed.
They're blackballed for a while because of the fact of their mindset and just where they stood on certain positions. So when it comes to like keeping it real, there is no realer than this dude. This dude keeps it mad real, and he always makes sure that he's not only looking out for himself, but he doesn't forget the people that he's grown up with. He doesn't forget the people who helped get him there. He doesn't forget about his teammates. You know what I'm saying? Like he was talking in an interview. He was like, "Yo, I was gonna sign another contract with the UFC, but yeah, it would have been good for me. But I asked him to sign all my other guys too, and they didn't want to do it. So it kind of
So
made me
he's
not want
like
to do
that.
the
He's like a
deal."
one for all type of guy.
Yo, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a real cat. So like people resonate with that. And
Yeah.
and that's the thing that makes him have the stage that he has with the UFC and get away with some of the things that he does because
He's good for this. He's good for the sport.
he moves the needle and he resonates with so many
T-Mobile
people.
Arena. I mean, that's going to be get him on.
Yeah, but he resonates with the fans and the fans. No matter how much if you like his fighting style or not, you like him as a person, and you're attracted to just watch and see what he does next.
Now I noticed the fighter he's fighting against, Kamza. Is that his name?
Yeah, Hamza.
Kamza. He doesn't have much emotion, man. He doesn't really. You can't tell what he's thinking. Kind of like Khabib. You're like he's there to fight, to kill, and get the hell out of
Nah,
there.
you can tell what he's thinking. He has a big mouth. Unlike Khabib, he talks a whole lot. He has a big mouth.
So he does have a mouthpiece.
Well, yeah, he has a mouthpiece. Like one thing about Hamza is that he's an entertainer. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that he entertains in the cage, but he has like these one-liners. He knows how to capture your imagination by saying, "I want to kill. I'm gonna kill everybody. I want to fight everybody. I will
Wait till you
destroy
see.
everybody." You know what I'm saying? So he's got that mindset, and people love that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they love how just like how like ravenous he is. He just hungry, and it's a tough mountain for Nick to climb.
So let's look
Nick
at the
to climb.
hypotheticals now. Fight comes Saturday. He beats the shit out of Nate.
Yeah,
Now, who's you looking to?
I mean, it will be a title shot for sure. It'll be a title
100%.
shot. I mean, fighting Nate is more of like a
warm up.
I mean, I don't want to say warm up,
Well,
but
you
it's
basically said he's going to beat the crap out of him, so that's a warm up.
yeah. I mean,
For the most part.
yeah.
All right.
You know what it is? It's like if you want to beat a man and you want to move him into the place, he's got to dethrone a man. He's got to make his name off somebody. So they're looking to, use Nate to be the guy that is going to
The
really
stepchild.
propel him to stardom and really get people to like get the fans who are liking Nate to be like, oh man, this is the new guy, and then go with Hamzat. So that way it makes it a better selling card when you put him on the title fight.
So, who was this champ in that division?
Leon Edwards, he just beat.
Oh,
Kamaru
that's right,
Usman.
Leon. So,
Yeah.
that's Kimura's. That's Kimura's
Right,
division.
he just
Oh
beat-
my God.
Yeah.
Which brings us. I almost hit you in the face for a second. Sorry about that, bro.
I would hit you back.
Your buddy, Kimura Usman. I
Yeah.
watched that fight. He had that fight. I mean, you've probably been on a million podcasts since that fight. He's a dear friend of yours. He was your protege. And how's he doing, man?
I was kind of worried after that fight, getting knocked out like that. It messes with people in different ways, but to see how he responded, it really impressed me because it's almost as if like it brought on a different challenge in him. Like the day after the fight, I went over to where he was at, and we left on a plane together. And he was like, man, I woke up in gratitude, and I was very thankful, and I had an amazing ride and an amazing run, and I'm very excited and happy that I can show people truly how great I am when I get this belt back.
Plus,
And-
another couple $1 million is not going to hurt.
I mean, of course, that's not gonna hurt, but I mean,
Just
like,
raise the needle.
yeah, but like when you're in that position, you know what I'm saying, and you got the money coming in, you're not thinking about the next couple $1 million. You're really thinking about it from a pure sports point of view, from a pure like I want to get this back because it was mine. And losing a fight is a very nasty feeling inside. It almost feels as if like, you know what I'm saying, like you've been raped and you just can't wash that feeling off of you. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that you can do to kind of wash that feeling off. And the only thing that you can really do to really get that stench of loss off you is to fight again. You know, and you find yourself as a fighter being caught in a position where you feel like, you know, until you fight again, you're like people looking at you like, oh man, yeah, that's Rashad. Hey, what's up, Rashad? Like that motherfucker suck. He got knocked out his last fight. You see that? You know, that's what you feel like people are doing. You know, that's how you.
And
feel.
they are doing that.
They may.
I'm watching Twitter and Instagram.
They may. You know what I'm saying? They may do that,
Like
but
Kevin, what's his name? Kevin Holiday or what's that other fighter?
Kevin Holland.
He put a picture of Kimura with half of his head missing.
Yeah,
you know, I mean that was crazy.
And I fucked around, and accidentally liked it.
Oh,
I didn't know.
I follow that guy. I like the guy's personality.
I didn't. Yeah, I was like, oh no, I thought it was just a picture of Kamaru, and then I seen the head was.
I was like,
oh man, he got my boy.
He's a funny dude, by the way.
But you know what though? I really like the way that Kamaru has, like, he's wore it. He hasn't tried to get away from it when the jokes come. I seen him posting a couple pictures of like, you know, making fun of himself. Yeah. And that's how you do it. Yeah. Especially in this day of social media where it's so easy to become a meme. You got to be able to take control over it by getting ahead of it by making fun of yourself. Yeah.
He has to. He has no choice.
Well, I mean, he does have a choice. You can be bitter and you can be pissed off about it. Yeah. But I mean, being able to make fun of yourself and being able to make fun of the situation, it takes the sting out of it, and it allows you to face it.
But Woolley didn't do that when he lost to Jake Paul.
He did do that.
Well, at the end he did, but in the beginning he was saying it was a sucker punch.
The first one?
Yeah, the first one.
Oh, the first one when it was a decision, right?
Yeah.
When he knocked out, he owned that though.
Yeah, he had to. I mean, he's facing on the ground.
Yeah, he owned that. But you know what?
Yeah, he did.
That's how like as an athlete, that's how you get over it. Yeah. You got to be like, yo, you know what? It's part of the game.
But you know, Kimura reminds me. I mean, I don't know him as well as you do. As a modern age Clubber Lang. I'm sorry. Apollo Creed.
Okay.
Apollo Creed. Handsome guy, cocky as a motherfucker. You know, I'm Kimura Usman. I'm the champ. No one could touch me. And I think, and I love Kimura, I think it was getting to him a little bit. I think he was on that cloud where I'm the best in the world and nobody can mess with me. And I think that this was good for him. I think it was humbling because he did get knocked out and he did get his clock rocked. And I think now, besides making a ton of money on the next fight, I think he's going to come back stronger. I think he's going to come back more pissed off, and I think he's going to beat the shit out of that Edwards guy. That's what I think. I think he needed this.
But here's the thing. Like, I get how people say that, you know, oh, he's cocky. But listen, if you're the champion, you gotta be cocky. You can't walk in there like you gotta reserve a little bit of humbleness for sure. But if you're not walking around, if you're not feeling like you're the best, then how are you going to go out there and perform the best?
Muhammad Ali was the perfect example.
Right. You got to be able to go out there and shout it from the rooftops. I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. Because when you say that you're the best, and when you go out there and you're holding yourself to that line, that's what you got to do. You got to believe it.
Yeah, that's my boy Rourke in the corner. You remember when Muhammad Ali lost to Joe Frazier? I mean, you probably were a little boy. I was a little boy. He was kicking the crap out of everybody up until that point. Okay, Ken Norton, George Foreman. Obviously, he fought Foreman after Frazier, but when he lost to Frazier for the first time, man, that humbled him. But he made fun of it.
Right.
He was always a showman, and I think more athletes today should embrace that. All right, you lost. It's all good, but now you got to come back, and when you get back on top, you know, Mike Tyson started doing that at the end of his career. You know, he hated losing. But when Buster Douglas knocked him out, man, Mike was like, holy shit, I got knocked out. Mm-hmm. You know, it could happen to me. It could happen to anybody. And he started to, I saw a different Mike. I saw a more compassionate Mike. And maybe Kimura will be a little, I don't know, maybe he'll come into the ring a little different now. I don't know.
Nah, he shouldn't come in a cage any different. Because here's the thing about it. Like, look, you're in a cage and the person across from you, they're trying to separate you from consciousness by any means necessary. So you got to go out there and you have to be savage in your mind. You got to be a goddamn savage out there. You can't go out there and try to play the political game. I'm going to be humble. I don't want people to think this. Fuck that. Fuck everybody. Go out there and do your thing. That's what you got to do. You can't go out there and play and play. I'm going to try to be the nice guy, because that's not what this is.
No, it's a brutal sport.
It's a brutal sport. It's the brutality that gets you through. You got to be savage. You got to be nasty. When you start to become too civilized, you can't fight no more.
You were on a running streak when you won the Ultimate Fighter. You know, you were on top of the world. I mean, and then you became UFC champ. You knocked out Chuck Liddell right on the button, man. I never forget that fight. And then you were the guy with the target on your back. Yeah. Everybody was coming for Rashad Evans. All these guys. And then you lost your first fight, you know, after like an eight fight winning streak or 9 fight winning streak. What was that like? Did that kind of change your life at all?
Yeah, I mean,
do you second guess it? Like, I could have did this better, could have did this better, I could have won that fight.
You always second guess your defeats. You know, you always second guess what could have went wrong. You know, what went wrong and what could have you done better and all those kind of things. But you know, it's a growing point. It's a place for growth, and with the right mindset, you know, that loss is the perfect seed if you have the perfect soil of just making sure that you are accepting it to grow something beautiful from that. When I lost to Machida, it was a tough loss, you know, but it was something that
you thought you were going to win that fight too, easy.
I mean, you always think you're going to win a fight. you never go into a fight like, well, I think I might lose this fight. Nah, you go into the fight saying I'm going to win this fight, and when you lose a fight, you're like, damn, that just happened to me.
Did you help Kimura with that same advice? Did you kind of tell him, hey man, I've been down that road, everything's going to be okay?
Yeah, for sure. But he knows that. He knows everything's gonna be okay. He knows that, life is not over. You know what I'm saying? And it's from the setbacks in life that is the setups for something beautiful, for a great story. And you know, it'd be great to always win, but it's through the whole experience of the wins, the loss, the accumulation all together. It is really what makes fighting what it is. Like when you got to step out on that line, and they're calling you out there, and it's time for you to make that walk. You're excited, you're nervous, you're afraid, you're confident. All those feelings, a rainbow of emotions that you feel, and it's primarily colored by the fact that you know what could happen.
Yeah.
You know, before you get knocked out or before you lose a fight, you have a different feeling inside when you go out to the cage. But after you lose a fight and you've been knocked out and had some traumatic experiences inside the cage, then going into a fight then takes on a different reflection. So that cloak of invincibility gets taken away, but then you still got to find a way to go out there and find confidence to go out there and look like you still the motherfucking man.
You still are the motherfucking man.
Always.
Rourke.
Yes.
You're sitting in the same podcast right now with UFC champion Rashad Evans. He's one of your fans. You're a big fan of his. In fact, your buddy.
See, that was a TV setup right there.
No.
That was a TV setup right there. That was. But go on.
I gotta get you in this, because when I told you we were gonna go watch him or we're gonna go see him, you were freaking out because my boy's like.
I was actually on my way to West Palm Beach. I was going my way to Breakers at West Palm Beach. So
the Breakers.
Yeah,
the Breakers. Sorry about that.
No, that's part of the story, because I had a freaking pink shirt on, and I wanted to premise why I was dressing, because I'm on my way to Palm Beach. I ended up in UFC, amateur UFC fight. It was unbelievable. It was great. And to go with Rashad Evans of all people, he tells me, my good friend, his nephew's fighting. You want to go to this fight? I said, sure. We're on our way up, and then. I didn't realize it was Rashad Evans' nephew.
Yeah. You got a hard on. That was it.
It was a good night. I got to see UFC live. It was a good night, and even my wife loved it too. She wanted to stay. You know,
she was getting into it.
Yeah. When those two girls were fighting at the end, she wanted to stay. She really liked the fight before. She wants to come back. She's a fan now.
So Rashad, I didn't tell you this, but Rashad went to Michigan State.
Oh, really?
Collegiate, and he's from Michigan.
I'm from Michigan, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
What part of the hand?
Just outside like Bloomfield, Birmingham area.
Every time you tell anybody who's from Michigan, it's like they pull up the mid. Well, I'm not from this part.
Right. Yeah.
But
I spent a lot of time in Michigan State back in the day. I didn't go to school
But going to those smaller MMA shows,
Yeah.
they're a lot of fun
Oh, they're
because
amazing.
it's like, you see these kids, and that's why I like going. You see these kids, and you just see the look in their eyes, and the look in their eyes I'm talking about is just so much hope for what could be, And
You were one of those kids.
I was one of those kids. That's why when I go there, I'm just like, oh man, I remember this. I remember that feeling like to just be brand new to the sport. When I first started fighting, I fought in Angola, Indiana.
You got to tell that story when you're going into the basement. Was that New Mexico or was that Indiana? When you went into like this black cold corridor.
Oh, that was a gym I used to train at.
All right, we'll save that for another podcast.
But I mean, but
Indiana.
Yeah, I fought in this smoker, and it was literally a smoker because it's.
Now, what's a smoker? Tell people what that is.
So a smoker is like a smaller venue, but usually it's called a smoker because it's not really. People are like usually smoking and
weed, cigarettes,
cigars,
everything.
Everything. So they call them smokers, and it's just like like these really shitty cars.
I wouldn't go in there. I
used to fight in these smokers, and the first one I fought in, it was my first professional fight. And I'd never even had an amateur fight. And back then, it wasn't no pros and amateurs. It was just like, you fight. So I signed up to do one fight. And they say, hey, you know what? There's a tournament going on. So why don't you just jump in this tournament? And if you fight the one fight, then you can just drop out of the tournament. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I jump in the tournament, and I beat the guy really fast in 30 seconds. And I'm like, damn, I didn't really get to really feel it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really get to feel it. So I'm like still hyped up. I'm like, yo, sign me up. I want another one. And then I won that one. So I'm just like, yeah. So I'm like, well, hell, I'm in the finals now. So I might as well fight in the finals. So then I fought in the finals and I won. And,
what was your first martial art? What was your first, where did you start with?
Tang Sudo. Tang Sudo was the first martial art I ever done. And then I did wrestling. And I stayed with wrestling for a long time, and I stopped doing Tang Sudo, and just was doing. Then I did boxing, so it was primarily just boxing and wrestling.
We could talk about his career because he's got an amazing story. Yeah, I mean, on and on and on. But let's switch topics a little bit. We kicked about UFC. This is going to be the first week of football, NFL, opening up on Sunday. Last year the Rams won the Super Bowl against Cincinnati Bengals. So there's a lot of predictions this year. Are they gonna repeat? But Buffalo is supposedly the team to beat in the AFC because they got that Josh Allen quarterback, and my Giants are in the shitter as usual. But there's hope. There's a lot of hope. But what do you think about the Bills? I mean, there's a lot of hype on the Bills.
Sherman, you know what I think about the Bills.
Well, you're from up there,
you know what I think about the Bills.
I know.
No,
you really think? I mean, Josh Allen's phenomenal. To me, I knew he was going to be an amazing quarterback. But do you think they got the whole package? Do you think this is the year for the Bills?
I think they do got the whole package. I think Josh Allen is a great quarterback. He makes some great decisions inside the pocket, and make a lot of smart plays that doesn't lead to a lot of turnovers. But more importantly, he can get these guys to follow behind him. You know what I'm saying? He's a real captain out there.
He's a leader.
He's a real leader out there. And then I feel like, when you look at the Buffalo Bills legacy, it was always a great, the Jim Kelly, you know what I'm saying?
The Doug Flutie in a row.
Hey, Doug,
one against my G-Men. That was the first one. Yeah. This is going out to Chris Hale out there in Southern California. Chris, a USC alumni. I love you, buddy, but I had to rub it in.
I still got a little trauma over those lost Super Bowls, but I do believe that Buffalo,
and I agree with you. I think they're going to win the AFC.
We're in a good position to do something big.
Now, what about on the NFC side? It's a wide open. I mean, Dallas has always got a great team, but they always fall. Like Stephen A. Smith says, they're not going to make it in the playoffs. You have the Rams, got a stacked team. You've got some other good teams too that are on the come up. But who do you think represents the NFC before the Super Bowl starts or before the season starts?
Man, before the season starts?
Oh, yeah, if you had to pick, you got a lot of teams out there, but the powerhouses are the Rams, the Cowboys, and I think those are the two favorites to. Then you have the San Francisco 49ers. You got the 49ers, which just signed Garoppolo again, and that was a crazy situation. So that's what you got.
I think the 49ers are going to do some work this year.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's going to be the 49ers.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the 49ers and the Buffalo Bills.
That'll be an amazing Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Where's the Super Bowl at this year?
That's going to be in Arizona. And we're going.
We're going to
We're
Arizona.
going.
We're going to Arizona.
We went to
All right.
LA last year.
Right?
This
Yeah,
is my Super Bowl guy
Let's
right
do
here.
it.
He
Let's
got me
do
at
it.
every party on the planet, man. All I say is, hey, man, I'm the manager of Rashad Evans. Okay, you're in. ESPN, you're in. Maxim party, you're in. Penthouse party, you're in. Okay, and you know what the funny thing is? He blazes the day before the parties.
You what?
He takes off. He goes back home and leaves me by myself.
Poor
So
guy.
I got to find somebody now to
you're
go
all
with.
by your own, man.
First of all, it was in LA and it was right still during like the COVID.
COVID, yeah, it
restrictions.
was Mask City.
So I just
And
wasn't.
we're not vaccinated.
It wasn't
We didn't get the
even about the
vaccination, man.
mask for me. It was just about show me your papers. I didn't like the whole show me your papers
yeah.
thing.
He
It
didn't
just
like it, man.
it kind of didn't give me a good feeling inside. So I'm like, I can't even have fun. Like, what country is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, where are we at? What's
So you
going on?
got baked on one party. You had to.
Yeah.
Because you said, Mike, I can't go to this party straight. Even I smoke with you. So me, you, and Vince, the ShamWow guy. Hey, you like my nuts? You remember the ShamWow guy?
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Hey,
I
Mike.
didn't.
Hey, Mike. Can I go with you guys? Can I go with you
His
guys?
office would be down in Miami.
Oh, yeah. On
he
Lincoln
had all
Road.
serviced off, like,
Yeah,
years
little
ago,
bit,
like,
yeah.
for a short time. Yeah,
He
yeah.
blew $20 million. Sorry, Vince. Sorry, Vince.
Yo,
Anyway,
my God.
so it was me, him, and the ShamWow guy. Okay, we went to this shindig. I forgot what it was, and he was the main attraction. Like, you know, we had a red carpet and we had like a step and repeat, and it was a line like I'd never seen before. It was like, you know, wrapped around 3 streets, and when he got to the red carpet, he was like, boom. It was like ants going for like a little piece of cheese, you know, and he was baked out of his mind.
First of all,
Okay, he was like,
I wasn't.
Where
baked.
am I, Mike?
I wasn't baked. He's exaggerating. First of all, I wasn't baked, but you know what it was? I did a microdose, right?
Half baked.
Oh.
But listen. It was a little bit more than I would normally do in a microdose. And if those who know I took a little too much of the microdose, so I was starting to feel like a full-on trip come on. So I'm like, okay, I gotta like kind of settle down.
Did a dose. You didn't do a
I did a full dose. I did a dose, and I didn't mean to. So I'm at this party, and I got like, and I'm starting to like trip balls. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to trip pretty heavy.
Yeah, you were tripping hard.
And everybody was just
Coming
coming up to
you.
me. It was so hot,
Oh.
and Sherman was full of. See how he is right now? Put him in a party. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry, we gotta do this. We gotta do this. I'm like, yo, bro, I need to just sit down and chill. I need to chill out so I
could be like Savvy Piscatelli. Hey, look at me.
Oh,
He only
see.
has one speed. He
Huh?
has one speed. Mike has one speed.
That's it.
That's it.
Full speed. I don't slow down. I want to talk about one more thing today because this is our first podcast, and you know we talked a lot about UFC, which is only fitting because Rashad's a champ, and we talked a little football, really to get into it. But there was something really peculiar that happened today. Mark Cuban, billionaire, also star of the show Shark Tank, was on a panel with Elizabeth Warren, okay, talking about business, and he said to her, "You're everything in this world that's bad for the United States, for the economic system, for business. You're everything in this world that's bad for business." And she just looked at him like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "When I was a young kid."
Oh, this is face to face.
This is face to face.
Oh.
I mean, it's on Twitter, it's on Instagram. You know, being a success was an honor. To make a lot of money and to pay taxes. I mean, you're at the pinnacle.
You don't have to be ashamed of it.
You don't have to be ashamed of it. And she obviously wants to tax all the very wealthy, but I'll really tax them. You know, not just the 30, 40%, like 50, 60, 70%. You know, which is crazy. And
Well, she wants to
and he's a
tax their-
Democrat, by the way.
Tax their wealth, not just their
And
income,
he's a
actually.
Democrat, I believe, right, Rourke?
Yeah.
I believe he is
he's a
because
Democrat, yeah.
he owns the Mavericks.
No, he's
And
not,
he-
but
he-
he's reasonable. He's a moderate. He's a reasonable human being.
And he said his team doesn't have to. His team doesn't have to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah,
You know, he's a cool cat, but he put her in her place, man. And I think for a guy of that power on television,
about time.
you know, I think it's well deserved.
I mean, look, listen.
And he does a lot of initiatives too. Like I don't know if you know, he started like this drug program. He's trying to help.
Oh, he's the
people.
best,
Right,
man.
right.
The guy's
He's
ace.
starting to do a drug platform where he only charges 10% over cost or something like across the. He's doing a lot of things that help the average person in the United States. I think he's very conscious of it.
Well,
I think for him,
Yeah,
it's
you can't please everybody.
A lot more powerful.
You can't please everybody. I just thought it was something to talk about, and it was.
I mean, it you know, this whole you know, they hired 87,000 new IRS agents, you know, that's going to be carrying weapons and guns. So
What?
yeah, they're going to be carrying weapons. So they're going to be showing up to people's house and being
Ironically, I heard that.
and shaking them down for whatever they owe in
No
taxes.
shit.
Yeah, and they, I mean, they got guns, so they expect people to be coming like, you know, get the hell off my porch type of attitude. But
Wow.
I mean, here's the thing, like, you know, taxes and paying into the system is one thing, but when we have all our tax money or huge portions of our tax money going to Ukraine and going to all these other countries that doesn't benefit us or take care of home first. You know what I'm saying? Why are we in such a hurry to take care of another country when at home we're fucked up?
Because we're the big brother.
No,
That's our obligation to take care of everybody else.
It's corruption. It's corruption. And the corruption needs to be called out and it needs to be said because it is corruption 100%.
Unfortunately,
Listen, every time billions of dollars moves, money's being psyched. Every time money moves,
you don't have to whisper that, Rourke.
No, I mean,
I mean, you got a microphone right in front of your face. If you're gonna say it with pride. All right.
Yeah, it's corruption. And here's the thing about it. People are getting tired of this corruption because it's so in our face.
Yeah.
It's so in our face,
Yeah.
and it's and this whole this regime, this administration that's in office right now,
Yeah.
you know, they seem to be fostering more of this type of behavior. So people are starting to be like, yo, this is not the America that I grew up in. This is not the
Oh, it's
America.
definitely not the America we grew up in.
No, but it's changing at such a rapid pace, and it's going more towards this socialist type system.
And what do you think about that? That's a great point. What do you think about what you can and cannot say on social media? Like Zuckerberg, you know, I mean, I keep my Instagram and Facebook pretty much neutral, but there's a lot of people that are more opinionated, and I'm not going to mention names, celebrities, big celebrities, that are kicked off of these social media platforms, and they have to be careful what they say in this world. That we're supposed to be America, the home of the free. You know.
I mean, it's like this when you have a situation where you can't say what needs to be said, and if you do say what needs to be said, and it goes against the narrative of what's being said out there, and you get punished for saying that, then you have grounds for, you know, for communism and everything else, that you're going to control speech and everything because you can't go against what, you know, the authority says. And it's like, well, where are we going? And I
Right.
feel as if like we're being guided into a place where it's not going to serve anybody. You know, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, whether you're an independent, it doesn't matter when you start to, you know, really erase, you know, the founding principles of this country, which is the Constitution. Then you're looking to create a whole new place in general, and which is not America, and not how we got to be the America as we know today.
You know, I want to just interject, or actually, you just finished. The reason why I wanted to do this podcast with you, okay, and I've known you a long time, and I love you like crazy, is because you are so intelligent. And I'm not just putting smoke up your ass,
Thank you, Mike.
but you do so much like day-to-day research on politics and on current events and all this kind of stuff. Like, I don't know how you come up with half the facts. Like when I was ready to get the COVID vaccine, you're like, don't do it, Sherm, don't do it. And I was like sitting there in the chair, you know, ready to get the vaccination. I'm like, I was there at Publix. Don't do it. You got to see all this research. You got to see all this new evidence. And you talked me out of it. I mean, how do you stay, you know, up to date with all this stuff? I mean, in your day, in your life.
It's an interest to me. Like I'm very interested into, you know, in what's going on. I'm very interested in, like, you know, what we're being told. I'm not one of those people who just like hear it and be like, oh, okay, and just disregard it and then go on my life. I want to see why they're telling us what they're telling us. And when you look into why they're telling you what they're telling you,
That's a whole nother podcast.
then you're just
baby.
like, oh, okay. And then it makes you draw questions, and then from there, you know, you start to really see the game that's being played. And once you see the game that's being played, you can't unsee it. You know what I'm saying? It's like Neo when he's seen the Matrix, baby. He couldn't unsee it.
I remember that. I think we're living in the Matrix now. So we have lots to talk about. This was our first podcast. I think it went great. We're up for time, guys? Pretty much. So listen, Rourke Smith, our special guest, was amazing. You said a lot of great stuff today. I love you, Rourke. 2 thumbs up.
Surprising.
Suga Rashad Evans is always, entertaining. He's got so much to say. And Mike Shermann, as you know, I like to talk as well. And
He referred to himself in the third. Let's disregard that part. But yes, go on.
for those of you that don't know, I have a TV show every week on My 33, who lives in South Florida, WBFS. I come on at 11:30 at night. We've got some of the biggest celebrities from Mike Tyson to the Rolling Stones. We talk about their raise to fame. Suga Rashad also was on several other podcasts, and he's got all kinds of stuff going on. If you want to talk about promote anything you got going on. In fact, you got your protein company, Umball. We can talk about that next podcast. But if you want to go ahead and just shout out anything that you think is coming up that's important.
Nah, I just, want to thank everybody for viewing and checking in. And, I'm very excited to get this underway.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
try to sell anything right now.
Yeah.
But if you want to follow me and check out what I'm into, go to @Suga Rashad Evans and on Instagram or on Twitter, and you'll be able to find me.
100% same thing. Mike Shermann Official. And we're at our new studio down here. It's Palm Beach Records. We're at Palm Beach Records, which is a sick facility for podcasts and recordings and everything you could think about in media. And so I want to thank these guys for making it extra special for us to come out here today and start our very first podcast. So this is Mike Shermann, Suga Rashad Evans, special guest Rourke Smith for Suga and Sherm. We'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in, and we're looking for a lot more of you guys down the road. See you soon.